This video made possible by the Global Innovation Exchange. Visit gixnetwork.org to learn more.
Thank you, everyone. It's very encouraging to see so many of you ready to make the best financial decision of your lives by investing in a timeshare. And all right, just making sure everybody's paying attention. I guess some other people have been to those too. So my name's Spencer Soper. I'm a tech reporter with Bloomberg. We've got a bureau here in Seattle at Thurman University. Pleasure to be part of the panel. And I'll introduce our guests. Here we have Nadia Shorobora. She is an undercover operative with the Russians here to meddle in our elections. But that's just her. She's not here to talk about that. Her front is she was an executive with Amazon. She's now founding CEO of Hointer, which is working to bring the digital experience to the retail environment. And next to her is Chris Diorio with Impinj, and he's the founder CEO of Impinj and a pioneering researcher in RFID technology, which is used in data collection and inventory management in stores. And then to his left, we have Amy Johnson, who is Senior Vice President with Starbucks in marketing and has been involved in their digital initiatives, as well as some of their mobile pay functions. So to kick it off, Internet of Things. Do you want to tell us what that is, Nadia? Because sometimes I'm still confused on what that means.
So to me, Internet of Things is it's just one part of the puzzle, and many things need to come together to make this puzzle happen. For example, in the retail, it's a part of a puzzle. Product is very important, price is very important, but experience is very important too. And so IoT is it's just one part of that puzzle.
Okay. And Chris, to follow up on that, can you give us any examples of Impinj's technology and how it's utilized among some of your clients?
Sure. So Impinj builds products around a certain type of RFID technology called RAIN, appropriate in Seattle for radio identification. And our vision is to connect every item in your everyday world to the internet. Everything. Every apparel item, every food item, just literally have connectivity for every item in the world. Impinj has connected more than 25 billion items to date, and more than 7 billion last year alone. We connect those items wirelessly, and what we're focused on delivering is for each item, its identity, its unique identity, its location, and its authenticity. And in so doing, extending the reach of the internet to everybody, to everyday items. And for us, the Internet of Things truly means things, not just connectivity for powered electronic devices, but for everything. And in so doing, bring benefits to industries and consumers.
So can you tell me why in the world I'd want my underpants connected to the internet?
Yes. Because when you go into the store and you want to find the ones that you want to buy in the right size and the right type, if you're like me, you know exactly what you want to buy. When you go in the store, you want it to be there. And if it's not there because of supply chain inefficiencies, you're probably not going to buy anything.
Okay, you opened the door, so we're going to talk about your underpants. You did that, not me. So the importance of IoT to underpants. For me, what's very important is to measure results and what IoT delivers in terms of results. And talking about underpants, one thing which is important when you think about underpants is sex. And to me, sex is defined by two metrics, which is quantity and quality. And when you think about IoT, what I discovered personally is that, for example, IoT lights, beautiful lights. How many of you experienced different lights in your house? Okay, so the experience is you come in and you're tired and you don't want to think about sex. And suddenly the whole room turns to your mood in soft blue. And it genuinely works. So if you measure IoT devices and lights and its correlation with quantity and quality of sex in underpants, there is a very strong correlation. So that's your example for impact to your underpants.
Thank you, Nadia.
Makes sense?
Good luck, Spencer.
I can see the room's starting to fill up here, so we went in the right direction with
Don't
this.
open the door again. Be very careful what you ask next.
We're going to need a Safeco Field next year.
I do want to tell you just a fun one. There's a retailer that we work with in France that if you're a consumer, you walk into the store, there's a kiosk. You basically look on the kiosk. You decide what you want. You click the item, and within 90 seconds, the item comes down in a little tube. You know, like they used to have in the banks, you know, a little tube. The little tube comes down with your little capsule with exactly what you want to buy. Just check it out right there. You just walk out of the store, even if it's your underpants.
All right, I'm sold. All right, Amy, we don't want to ignore you down there. So,
I don't know how to connect to this one, but go ahead.
Yes, and so Starbucks, and we spoke earlier where you said part of your job is identifying pain points in the experience. So everyone, air your grievances to Amy. But why don't you give us some examples of any kind of connected devices that can be used in the Starbucks environment to take care of those pain points?
Sure. So I saw some Starbucks cups in here. Who are regulars to Starbucks, or would consider yourself regular to Starbucks? Oh, thank you. Of the people that raised their hand, although you love going, I'm sure that there could be something improved with, I don't know, standing in line, being at the POS, finding an order, handoff plane, something to be improved. Yeah, generally. So my job basically is to figure out what the pain points are you're having and how do we improve those pain points through our digital assets. We really believe that digital asset is only around to figure out how to help you. And sometimes we don't need a digital asset, sometimes we need the operations to do it. So, for example, Mobile Order and Pay does really well for us. I don't know if you guys use it. Gets you in and out super quickly, but sometimes people are kind of scared to use it. I don't know if you remember the first time you used it. It was like, okay, I'm going to place it. Did I send it to the right store? Okay, now when I go to pick it up, it was a hot drink. Is it going to be cold? Okay, like I'm so far. There's so many like, to get there. Thank you so much for trying it, because there's so many that you trust us to do it. There's still a lot of people that don't do that. So what we're trying to figure out are things like, what is stopping people from wanting to get out of line? Because it seems to me like, why wait in line? Sometimes it's just the big like, I don't want my hot drink cold. So there can be ways from an operations perspective to validate that. Like at the handoff plane, the barista's like, thank you so much. This is the first time you tried it. How did you like it? Through something on the app, a pop-up coming back, a like, don't like, those kind of things. So how do we set up a cycle where we know what your friction point is? We set up both digital and operations around that. And then we test our way in to see, did that solve for that point? And then we move to the next friction point. So a lot of what my job is really finding out kind of like areas that rub you the wrong way and try to fix that to make your experience better. And I was trying to figure out how to tie into the underwear story. I don't know if it's like a pinch point, right? So you're somewhere, we know your underwear is, and we deliver to you. Maybe that's how we could tie in. Is that the headline? Starbucks delivers with your...
But hey, I'll put you in the hot seat. We don't have to talk about underpants. So I was thinking about pain points. There's a Starbucks. I live in Puyallup. It's like suburban hell. It's like cul-de-sacs and one road to get in and out. And I have to go by a Starbucks every time I leave my house, and we frequently go in. We can't get by a Starbucks without driving in. But so I get coffee, and I ask for, a venti pike, okay? And I ask them to leave room for, what do I ask them to leave room for, Amy?
Cream.
Yes, she knows her stuff. And what's troubled me about Starbucks, for a company that does such volume, you kind of have these little rinky-dink things out there, and they often go empty. And then I'm kind of like appointed Starbucks problem solver, and I don't really want to be Starbucks problem solver. I just want the thing to be full. And then, like, people online are staring at me, like, what the hell is that guy doing? He's trying to cut the line, and the people are busy making other people's drinks. What the hell does this guy want? So, like, is that a potential IoT solution there? Like, can there be some kind of alert, like, fill this damn thing?
All right, the whole condiment bar has room for approval.
Is anyone seconding that emotion, please? Thank you, okay.
This feels like an intervention. Yeah, the whole condiment bar is a place that is ripe for IoT. It is a really good place, actually, for people to meet each other. Because it's so small. They introduce themselves. Some people have gotten married there, but secondary usage.
If you have blue lights and Barry White, you might have to watch out for Nadia at the condiment station. But, okay.
But I think your root problem is Puyallup, and you're just mad at Starbucks because of that. Solve the root cause.
I kind of teed myself up. I teed myself up for that. Okay. Well, why don't we go down the line, and Nadia, why don't you talk to us? I know we spoke before about some work you've done with Macy's. Why don't you talk about some of the work you're doing to enhance the brick and mortar experience?
Yeah, so my passion is physical bricks and mortar, and it's all about creating an orgasmic experience in a physical store and the ability to come in and enjoy experience. Because to me, I love online shopping, and online shopping is cool. But from time to time, you want to go out and you want to show yourself, and you want to have fun, and you want to play with things. And so for me, the mission is to create a store where it's a phenomenally cool product at a phenomenally attractive price, and it's a lot of fun to shop. So that's what Hointer is.
So can you give us any examples of things that people have experienced, and then maybe how that could be enhanced, or a frustration they've had that could be eliminated?
Yeah, so there are obvious frustrations like a checkout, and so we've done that. But then there are other experiences, like a fitting room experience. And that experience is absolutely horrible, because when you are about to try on and enjoy yourself in a new outfit, you go to the fitting room, you take your clothes off, you're standing in front of the mirror, you put something on, and the darn thing doesn't fit. And at that point, the whole mood is gone, and you just want to get out of the store. So the experience we're working on is you come into the store, touch items you like, you go to the fitting room or you go to experience areas, and items appear in front of you as you wish and as you think about it. And to me, that's a great experience of the future.
And Chris, how about you? Are there any common themes when customers or prospective clients call you, things that they're looking to solve or things that they're looking to enhance?
Yeah, certainly there's central themes. If I think just about consumers and I think about retail applications, our end customers are very interested in consumer experience along the lines of the fitting room experience. They're very interested in availability, product availability. As I said before, you go into a store, they don't have an item, you're likely to walk out. And longer term, they're very interested in you being able to engage with the item over the life of the item. So for example, sporting goods and getting information about your particular sporting good item, or just a simple thing like in the future you can envision buying food items. Maybe you'll have a smart refrigerator that can keep track of your items, and if something's expired, the refrigerator will tell you that it's expired and potentially order something online where you get a replacement. Your eggs are expired, we've ordered new eggs. So
it's like the internet of your nose.
Well, I'm not trying to connect your nose. We'd have to think about that one. But literally connecting things that you engage with in your world, whether it's retail apparel items, whether it's food items, whether it's Delta bag tags for baggage that gets tracked and comes down the carousel. You get a text message saying your bag's coming and it's coming down carousel 4. The idea of tracking and getting information about your items and delivering those items to you and delivering information about those items empowers people, empowers consumers about items to be more interested in getting the items they want.
Can you give us any examples? I'm just thinking of like maybe a big box store or a Home Depot where you go in and you're just feeling kind of lost and overwhelmed. Do you see this technology helping that problem in terms of people navigating the stores or more quickly finding what they need rather than, it seems like sometimes you see the guys in orange aprons and they run away?
We absolutely do, and we have a good number of large retailer end clients who want this idea of a digital concierge for you. So they know where the item is located using our technology. They know what they've got in the stores for many of these retailers, and they want consumers in the near future to be able to go into a store and either using your phone or a kiosk be able to find immediately not just the type of item, but the particular item you want. Because what we do is we provide the unique identity, location, and authenticity of every item uniquely via a wireless technology that's got a 30-foot read range and can read 1,000 items per second. So the store can track their items, and then they can convey that information to their customers who can either more quickly find the item or get it delivered or basically have information or get more information about that item. And that's what we see as the future. The future is individual people being able to get information about individual items, and stores, retailers, being able to engage you as a person on an item of quantity 1.
And actually, so Chris has a really cool lab, which I've been last week. And it's really cool. So for those of you who are curious techies, go there and check it out. It's in South Lake Union. So it's a weird experience to go there. First, you cannot find parking. It's very hard to get to.
We haven't fixed that one yet.
No, but we need to. And so after an hour of frustration, you get to that lab, and it's horribly merchandised, and it looks like hell. And you really want to walk away. It's so ugly. But once you get over the parking issue and you get over lack of merchandising issue and many other issues, you actually start playing with it, and you're having fun, because what the systems around you and cameras and devices, what those devices know is where every item is, where you are, what you're touching, where you're looking at. So it's a really cool experience as soon as you pass over the disappointment.
Ringing endorsement from Nadia.
It is. It's a mock store run by techies, and you can imagine what it looks like.
And by the way, that's part of the reason why the retailers don't get it, because they cannot pass through this disappointment, and by the time they enjoy the experience, they don't get it. So we need to fix it.
I want to go back down to Amy, and I picked on you earlier. I do want to say I don't shy away from Starbucks when there is a line. I find that they move quickly.
In Puyallup.
Yeah, so anywhere. Consistently well-trained people hustling. You know, I think I just want to give that, you know, credit where credit is due. So there is a reason that we're there all the time, even if I have to fill up the creamer jug occasionally. But wanted to follow up with you and see if there are any experiments you're free to talk about, maybe some things in beta at some other stores, or any things that you guys are working on now that you think could represent the Starbucks experience of the future.
Sure. So one of the things we always keep in mind is when you come into Starbucks, you happen to be a Starbucks shopper at that moment, but a lot of our customers are online, obviously buying other things, right? You're on Amazon, you're maybe rented something through Airbnb, maybe your child goes to a school where they're using facial recognition technology now as a security measure. Like, your life is going on around you, and the expectation is that things in your life are going to catch up in the retail space that you're going to be visiting. So I thought it was brilliant. I know Uber, if anybody remembers, way back before Uber, and you had to like wait for your taxi, and you're like, I'm never going to get to the airport, and all of a sudden an app showed up, and you could follow the driver, and you all of a sudden felt very relaxed about the whole thing. And then when Domino's came out with like follow your pizza, it was brilliant. It wasn't something that was in their category, but it was still a pain point. If you have kids, where's the pizza, where's the pizza, where's the pizza? It's like, here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is. So now everybody in the family is happy. They could see the pizza's a rising pain point is solved. So one of the things we did when we were trying to figure out the line issue a couple years ago was we were like, who else has a line issue? Well, who here has been to Disney? They deal with lines so well. You don't even know you're standing in line for 45 minutes, and they had something called Fast Pass. We learned a lot from the different vendors that had worked with them. Things like people were actually punching each other when they cut in line in Fast Pass. People didn't think it was fair. My kid's been waiting in line, so we wanted to avoid like punching in Starbucks. We also needed to figure out what kind of device do you need? Like, because at the time, yes, there were smartphones, but how many people had a smartphone, and da-da-da. Do you need, I think they went the way of like a magic band. Like, do we need like a thing that you bring, a card? Do we need to embed it? So we actually ended up going with the phone, because obviously everybody has a phone. Something crazy like 98% of people know where their phone is at any point in time, but only 75% of people know where their wallet is. So if you can have your payment and all your credentials on your phone when you walk in the store, we thought that that would reduce friction. So as we're looking to see what are friction points that we have, we're also looking to see what the customer is interacting with in their whole life, to see what pain points we have, what things are they used to, so we're not getting over all these crazy curves in digital technology to get a customer to have to do something so new every time. Like, we're just selling coffee, it shouldn't be that hard. So we want to make it super easy and super understandable. So some of the things we're doing are taking the things like we already have executed well, mobile order and pay, and opening mobile order and pay only stores. So a store where you would just literally go in, you have already ordered, you could go up, and you could pick up your product. How do we look at maybe having food or other things in that location and it being that simple, for example. Or in South Korea, if you were to think of like a drive-through, where you literally just drive through. So there are things we're looking at now that take some of these pain points, what are customers used to, what doesn't feel weird to them, take that technology into pain points we have, and try them in different places in the country before we launch them.
I want to be in the mobile-only store when the 87-year-old woman walks in and says, "What do you mean I can't get a cup of coffee with this $5 bill?" So anyway, just make sure you stream the video of that, okay? Okay. A big topic now is job displacement, and robots, and they're going to kill everyone's jobs, that sort of thing. Why don't we talk a little bit about automation and how it's freeing up people to do other things? Because we have a lot of robots now, we have a tight labor market now. It seems like people always find other things to do when jobs are automated away, so maybe we can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I had a very interesting experience over the last several years. I traveled the world, and I went as an undercover associate and worked in many different stores in many different countries, and folded products, received goods in grocery stores, and did every task possible in many countries and many different stores. And I believe that within the next, it's not going to happen quickly, it's not going to happen next year, but many of those jobs which are performed right now by associates are completely useless and complete waste of time. And that will be streamlined by a lot, and so many of those jobs will go away. I was stickering prices for half of my time, I was checking people out. The other half of my time, I was dealing with piles and piles of useless inventory and lots of crap in a store. So this will go away. So I do believe that a substantial portion of the work in the physical retail store will go away. Hopefully what will come out of that are more fun jobs. Jobs helping customers shop, jobs styling the customer, and things like that. But there will be a substantial shift, I think, from my experience working in a store.
How about you, Chris? Are there any things that you're helping make stores more efficient and maybe freeing up labor time for other purposes?
Absolutely, and I can second the experience that you went through. I actually did the same thing, went into a couple stores and did some stocking just to see what it was and understand how we could improve efficiencies. And the idea of somebody working in a store, taking them away from just doing stocking or just checking or going around with a barcode scanner and actually scanning to know what's in the store, taking that task out, letting them engage with customers, and having more automation in the store to do what are effectively the menial tasks, I think is the future. It's actually, if you go back to the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, I mean, that's history, right? History is machines taking over jobs that people, repetitive jobs that people really shouldn't be doing or don't need to be doing, and having the people, the smart ones, do more capable, more efficient, better things going forward. And so I just see the future as being not taking away jobs, but making jobs and being bright.
And Amy, are we going to see robot baristas anytime soon?
Only filling the condiment bar. So it's our mission is inspire and nurture the human spirit, one cup, one person, one neighborhood at a time. And I believe you need humans to do that. To give you an example, a friend of mine, she lives in Delaware, she had a huge presentation, and this barista that she knew, and I don't know if you guys have like your favorite barista in your favorite store, knew that she had this major presentation, and they wrote on the cup, "You'll do great." And she literally, when she was presenting, put her cup in front of her on the table, and whenever she'd get nervous, she'd kind of like look down at that cup. And that's one of those little micro moments in life that unless you have a conversation, you don't know something's going on, and therefore you don't know to execute on it to make somebody's just day a little better. That isn't to say, though, we shouldn't get rid of all these tasks that you don't need somebody to do. So, for example, calibrating the grinding machine, or calling service when the espresso machine goes down, or scheduling service calls. Like if all the machines were interconnected and they actually could understand when they were breaking down or needed service, we could call ahead. It could be less expensive for a service call. And those baristas would have time to make sure that the creamer was filled, and they were writing on the cups and doing all kinds of things that make your day, instead of spending time setting up back of the house, working inventory, figuring out whether or not the milk is gone bad in the refrigerator, or how many days left in order to order. So there are lots of tasks that people don't need to be doing, and to spend time giving fantastic customer service that makes you really want to interact with the product.
And let's go rapid fire down the line. Tell me, without bragging about your own company, the last time something, a tech application in retail really blew you away. And we don't need to hear about all the issues you had to get over before you were blown away.
The lights, try them. Whoever hasn't tried them, try it.
Can you give us a brand? Is this, or do we have to go to like the store, like the kind of creepy store on the outskirts of town for these lights? Or?
That too, but that's a different light. I'm talking about a regular Philips or other brand lights, which empowered by IoT and which recognize your mood and create a beautiful ambience and beautiful environment in your house. So get rid of all existing bulbs you have and dull, bright houses you have, and get some lights in your life.
So how is it recognizing your mood?
So when I come in, I tell them, I let them know, and I say I'm tired or I am in a mood, and different lights appear, different moods appear.
No, I was at Amazon's Alexa device reveal, and they mentioned trying to make Alexa more conscientious, even like recognizing a whisper, and then automatically reducing the volume in its response. So, you know, I guess they probably woke some babies and heard from some angry parents.
Yeah, Alexa is actually, I love Alexa, but it has this problem which you're describing, that it doesn't know when to stop. Alexa, stop, and it doesn't stop. So it's really part of Me Too movement, I think.
I think it's Alexa Home. Alexa Home is the command you're looking for, something, or go home or something. It always makes me feel bad. Alexa, go home. Like, anyway, I don't want her to feel rejected.
And my daughter's name is Alexia, so the confusion between the two was kind of epic when we first got an Echo.
Were you able to give it a different wake word?
My daughter was.
Okay. All right, good. And so how about you? Any retail experiences that really impressed you, where you thought, like, wow, this is it. We're going to see more of this in the future?
Yeah, so a couple of months ago I was in Asia, and I went to a small store. They call them pop-up stores, but it's actually a full store. And they sell food items. And you come up with your phone, and you have WeChat on your phone. You come up with your phone, you hold your phone up, and there's a QR code on the door, and it recognizes you as a user of the service. The door unlocks. You walk inside. There's no employees at all. I mean, nobody stocking. There's nobody there. And the entire store gets stocked twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening, based on people taking out items. Every single item in that store, food items, drinks, everything else, has a tag on it that's radio frequency identification, the RAIN type that we deployed, has one of our ICs in it, and readers that actually continuously inventory the store. You pick up an item, you walk out the exit, and your phone tells you what you just bought. It automatically decrements what they've got in the store. As you were picking up the item, it checks the expiration date of the item. Everything's good. You walk out, and it's just yours, and you get billed for it right away. And for me, the experience was I was in the store, and everything was in Chinese, and I couldn't figure out what anything was. So I'm looking, and I saw something with a coconut on it. I thought, well, I think that's probably safe. Maybe that's what it is. And so that's what I bought. But sure enough, as we walked out of the store, it was one of my friend's phone because I didn't have the app. Sure enough, a pops on the phone, the drink that I just walked out with, and the entire thing is automated and completely employee-free. And for me, that was just quite an experience.
You're fascinated with a vending machine?
I am fascinated with a vending machine.
Doesn't take much to fascinate the man.
Sometimes
again, the tech guys who can't even deploy the right clothes in an office.
All right, how about you, Amy? Any times you've been at places other than Starbucks and you saw tech used in a way that you thought they really nailed it?
Sure. So kind of retail because people are getting things and it's knowledge. So school. And I think Jamie's speaking tomorrow. So my interaction that was so fantastic was an app actually called Dreambox Learning. And if you think about schools today, right, it's one teacher for 30 kids, and they're supposed to be able to keep up where the kid is. But really, unfortunately, you're probably going to know the 5 best and the 5 worst, and everybody in the middle, you're going to do your best. And this app that, this learning tool that Jamie and her team have created, it uses games. So the child comes in and learns how to play the game, and they get tickets, and you can play like skee ball and get gems, and there's animals. And so they learn to play these games, and as the kids are playing games, the ML gets smarter on them and then makes them learn more stuff without knowing they're learning more stuff. And I get an email that says, here's where your kid is, and if it's tied to your school, the teacher understands where the child is. So what was so amazing to me is that technology now is coming to a place where it's helping everybody gain in academia. So it's not just the top few and the little few and the parent doesn't know. Because I don't know if you guys have kids, but when I asked my 6-year-old, what'd you do in math today? They're like, something with triangles. And you're like, awesome. Like, I don't know how helpful that was, but you look like you had a great day. But now I could tell more about what they're doing. And so I was just kind of blown away. So not really a retail where you're buying like pants or underwear, but you are getting something education. And it does feel like that is just about to change. And I think Jamie's speaking more tomorrow. She's a fantastic innovator in that space.
I have 3 teen sons, and ignorance is bliss. But it always catches up with you, you know, so I could see, you know, being able to better monitor progress as a good function. Now, I wanted to ask about flops, and I understand it might make some of you guys uncomfortable, so I'll go first. And I don't want to mention a retailer's name, Walmart, but we have Walmart in Puyallup. We have 2, actually. They're like the 2 closest Walmarts, I believe, because the traffic's so bad.
I'm not surprised.
But, and this isn't really IoT, but I was very confused by it, but I was also excited. It was just kind of this whirlwind of emotions experience. They have these Try It Now kiosks, you know, where you walk through, and Costco is famous for them, and you get a little piece of smoked sausage and things, and you're seeing these now, and like a lot of supermarkets are doing them too to encourage the impulse buys. But I was walking down the aisle of Walmart, and I saw the Try It Now sign, and I looked down, and there's rolls of Cottonelle toilet paper. And I was just so confused, like, and they were unpackaged, you know, just kind of a little bit of the sheets dangling there for you to, you know, tempt you, and I wasn't sure what to do, and there was a woman there, and I struck up a conversation with her, and she was like, oh, honey, I'm as confused as you are, you know, so anyway, I just thought, you know, let's think that one through a little more, but I don't know if you guys have any examples where you thought, okay, and you don't even have to mention a business's name, but just maybe an experience where you saw something and thought, yeah, maybe not.
Well, I'll actually go after Amazon Go because I love Amazon, but Amazon Go was one of the experiences which disappointed me because it's one of those ticky experiences which got it right on technology. You come in, you grab it, and you go. If you like yogurt 3 times a day. Other than that, it's not a great experience. You're not going to go back because the product is not there and the ambience is not there. So I think the retailer who will get it right will get all 3 right, which is a great technology, great product, and a great atmosphere. If you get one of them right, it's just a disappointment.
So they got to dim the lights in Amazon Go.
Exactly.
And I think the sunlight actually interferes with some of those things, which is why the sunlight is kind of cordoned off. But how about you, Chris?
So I'll go back to the Walmart example. So we really believe that we can connect every item in your everyday world, but there's a pace at which technology happens and which technology evolves. And in the early days of our technology, RAIN RFID, we had these visions of being able to connect every item in a gigantic store, like 1 million items in a Walmart store. And we were early. The idea of getting information about 1 million items in an early days of a technology was a stretch too far. And what ended up happening is that smaller retailers deployed, or McDonald's for item traceability, or for Delta Airlines for tracking a small number of bags. But the thought process that we could do 1 million items right out the gate in a get-go in a store was kind of beyond our grasp.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of things in the store when you plan where you're parking, you know, based on which department of the store you're going to go into, you know, because they have the multiple entrances. So I hear you there. And how about you, Amy? Any times you've been let down, or in particular where you saw technology, an attempt at using technology where it kind of failed?
For me, it's kind of almost place any grocer here. They know every single purchase I make because I use a card. They have all this data on me. They know where everything is placed, maybe not, in the aisles. And they kind of could probably guess what recipes I'm making, yet they give me no information. Or if they do create an app, it's totally not user-friendly. So I just walk through that, seeing friction points and giving them all my data and hoping someday that they're going to be able to surprise and delight me and want me to keep coming back. Because eventually somebody's going to figure out that you don't need that. And I still want to touch the vegetables and stuff, so I can't go all the way to delivery at my house. But it's just, that's ripe for innovation. Just disappointed every time I walk in.
Chris, have you heard anything about, in supermarkets in particular, keeping things together, like an impulse purchase, like maybe you want to, if you think of a typical supermarket, things that you would need to bake cookies, you might have to go to multiple aisles, and some of them might be refrigerated and others not. Would you see like use of more kind of consolidating that inventory for an impulse buy or anything like that happening?
Absolutely, based on what consumers are buying and visibility into what they're combining in their cart. Either as they're shopping, depending on whether they want that information as they're shopping, and getting information about what items they're putting in their cart. Like you could, for example, have readers in the cart that could read the items and know that you're checking off a shopping list or other kind of information about the buys. We could see providing that information back to the grocer to allow them to reorganize their store and consolidate. But it's not just for groceries and things like that. There's opportunities kind of all across the board. You can think about the dressing room or smart mirrors, where somebody like me, a techie guy, who comes up and I see a shirt that I think I like. I have to ask my wife to be sure, but I hold it up, and I have no idea what it matches with. And we actually have a demo in our office of a smart mirror that says, well, if you're buying that shirt, it matches with this belt and these pants and these shoes. Maybe that wouldn't help everybody in the room. For somebody like me, it's actually a safe bet. So the idea of consolidating and providing information to the consumer about groups of items is incredibly powerful. And there's a variety of technologies that we think can enable it, ours being one of them.
And I think that's our time. How about a round of applause for our panel? I hope everyone enjoyed it.